What's going on, folks? It's KspadeTheProspect. I'm back today. I will be feeding you guys as much news and just information on crew mode, old gen crew mode, new gen Jordan Rec Center, and everything else that's going on. Folks, all of the news is out, so now I can finally talk. I promised you guys I had a lot to say, but it was certain procedures I had to go through, and I couldn't talk until it was time to talk. But it's time now, so I hope you guys are ready to be fed. I got plenty of info. This video right here, we're going to talk about old gen crew mode, the return of original crew mode. Now, some of this stuff is going to be exactly the way we remember it. Some of it will not be. And this video right here, the only thing I want to do is educate you guys on what's the same and what's different. All right. From afar, it looks exactly like NBA 2K11 crew. There are some differences though. A little bit of 2K10 sprinkled in as well. If you guys saw the video where I talked about the screenshots, you could see that this year customizing your uniform will also give, you know, limited customization options to your court. You can have your logo implemented mid-court, you know, so not like 2K11 where everybody just had the default court with the yellow paint and the same coach. This year, whatever base default team you use, that coach would be your coach. As opposed to past years, you don't need 2 human players, you need at least 3 human players. As I said earlier, you can use an NBA base roster, or this year the new addition is you can use one of the legend teams as your base roster. Now, upon hearing this news, I didn't really like it. I was like, wait a minute, that might be too overpowered. I would hate to play somebody and, you know, they bring Jordan off the bench or whatever. But I was talking with the devs, and shout out to the homie Jay. He came up with what I felt like a genius idea to keep this feature from being overpowered. So here's the deal. In previous years, people would have a my player, but they may choose not to start them. That was kind of a way. Some people used it to be cheesy, and some people didn't. I know for my crew, if you were still working on your my player, we would just play with, you know, a couple guys would have my players and maybe somebody else would use an NBA player, just so the crew could still be playing. This year, your my player has to start. He has to start. He don't have to play the whole game, but he has to start. No more hiding your my player. You know, you got that 99 over there on the bench, but you're gonna hide. You can't do that. Your my player has to start. Now, let me tell you how this works in connection with the legend teams. If you start, let's say for instance, you want to use the 96 Bulls. I'm a shooting guard. If I start myself at shooting guard, MJ doesn't become a reserve. Whoever your my player replaces in the starting lineup, he replaces that person on the roster. Make sure you hear me out. If you are a shooting guard and you start yourself on the 96 Bulls, don't think MJ's on the bench. MJ is gone. You cut MJ when you started your my player, all right? So I really like this feature. It's gonna make these legends be who they are. You're not gonna be able to bring one of these legends off the bench and go dumb with it. Keep that in mind. That's something that I really feel like is dope. Now some things have changed. The GM this year cannot be passed from player to player in previous years. I know in 2K11 I would say, you know what guys, you know, I've played long enough, I'm about to get off. Somebody would say, yo, pass me the GM. I want to switch up the unis, or I want to change the playbook, or I want to change the team we're running as, or whatever. So this year the GM cannot be passed. That's something you guys need to think about when you're starting your crew. You might want to get a GM to the guy that play a lot, because, you know, if you're off, you kind of got your team waiting on you. That's something different. Of course, another thing that's different is the total number of players on your team. Now, this thing was controversial because initially the number was 6. When I went out there the first time, the number was 6, and I basically begged them to make it at least 10. At least 10. And that's exactly what they did. They gave us 10. Some of you guys aren't happy about that. I think the original number may have been something along the line of 18, 15, 18, something like that. I'm not even sure, because I never had that many people in my crew. But I know a lot of people hit me up like, Spade, why did you tell them 10? It needs to be much more than 10. And I was like, bruh, like, I think we can make 10 work. It was 6. Come on, man, work with me. So here's the deal. It's only 10 people in the crew, and the locker room is not set up the way that it was in 2K11 and 2K10. If you guys remember, in 11, you had starters up top. You had 5 starter slots, and you had a bench. So if you had 10 people in the crew, 10 people in the locker room, should I say, you could tell whoever was going to run that first game to move up to the start. They would search for a game, and once they got in a game, it would move those on the bench up to the starting spot. Well, you can't do that anymore. And the reason being is because they initially wanted to go with 6. So what happened was when they boosted that number up, it was just a time crunch issue. They couldn't really get it in the game. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means you still can do the same thing. You just have to do it differently. So here's the deal now. The locker room can only hold 5 players at a time. If you got 10 people in your crew and all 10 of you join, it's going to be a locker room with 5 of you, and it's going to be another locker room with 5 of you. So here's what I recommend. You still can split your crew up and run multiple games simultaneously. You can run 2 teams of 5, 3 teams of 3, 2 teams of 3, a team of 4, whatever you want to do. This is what you need to do. If you know your point, your small forward and your center want to run a game together, let them get in the locker room first and search. Once they've searched, get your next group to join the locker room. And you can still run multiple teams at the same time. All right, and as far as some other omissions, unfortunately, the 2K website, which was a very, very important tool for a lot of guys in the crew community, that website will not return. So you could actually go to this website and you could check the scores of games being played. I didn't even know that. Some other guys in my crew was telling me that. And I knew that you could go and you could kind of see the records of all crews. You could see some stats, not individual player stats, but you could see like some crew stats. Well, you can't do that anymore. That website won't be back. It is a leaderboard. As far as I know, the leaderboard is still just based on overall crew stats. You can't see individual player stats. I know somebody asked me about that. That won't be available. You will get a little bit of stats before the game is started. You'll get like the combined points per game for that crew, the assists per game, similar to the same way you did in crews, you know, in 2K14 OGen. So I think this pretty much sums up the changes you guys can expect on OGen crew. If I left anything out that you guys have questions about, feel free to hit me up in the comment section. If you drop something in the comment section and I don't see it, feel free to shoot me that question on Twitter. Of course, my Twitter name is @KspadeTheProspect. No, it wasn't 63 of them before me. That's my height. And I'll try my best to get back to you guys. And if I don't know the answer, I'll try to get with the guys at 2K and I'll see if I can get an answer. But be mindful, at this time of the year, you know, everything's a little hectic. If I can't get those guys, don't think that you know, I'm just being a butthole or whatever. I'm trying my best for you guys. So that's all I got for this one, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you on the next one, all right? Peace.